Hey everyone, welcome back to the Workplace and Apprenticeship 20 videos. In this video, we're going to look at Lesson 3 from Chapter 6, which is talking about credit cards and store promotions. So credit is a type of loan in which a borrower receives something of value and agrees to pay the lender for it later. Credit cards are issued by banks and other financial institutions, as well as by many department stores and gas companies like Superstore and Sears. Stores often offer promotions that allow you to defer payments for months or even years. And what we talk about when we're talking about deferring payments, it means that you don't have to pay it back right away. So it might push back your first payment maybe in a few months, could be a year, but it means that you don't have to pay it immediately. So these offers enable you to buy an item without paying the full amount immediately or even paying anything at all. But in exchange, the stores often charge high interest rates on the purchase amounts when the payments are made. So they're going to grant you some time to collect some money so you can pay for whatever it is you've got, but they're going to charge high amounts since they haven't received anything from you. So you have to be sure you understand the conditions of a store promotion or a credit card before you sign an agreement. Doing something as small as researching your credit card options can help you use your credit effectively, and it can save you a ton of money in the long run. So we're going to do example number 1 from your notes, and this one here is going to be looking at withdrawing money from your credit card at an ATM. So a cash advance is a withdrawal of cash from an ATM charged to a credit card. Interest is usually calculated from the day of the withdrawal and is calculated daily. So on January 12th, John charges a cash advance of $500 to his credit card. This withdrawal appears on his monthly statement issued on January 27th. John does not pay this amount by the due date shown on his statement. The next month's statement is issued on February 27th. John's bank charges 18% annual interest for cash advances starting on the day of the withdrawal. So what we're going to do here is we're going to calculate the interest that John is charged for the January 12th cash advance. And so to do this, we are going to be using our simple interest formula, because this here is he's going to be charged every day, but it's not going to be compounded. So it's just the same interest amount being charged every single day. So in order to use this formula, so our formula here was I is equal to PRT. We need to know our principal, the rate, and the term. And remember, your term is always in terms of years. So your principal is how much you originally took your cash advance for, which here it was $500. Your interest rate was 18% per annum, and your term here is supposed to be in years. So if we go back up to this question, this one here doesn't tell us exactly how many years or how much of a year that John had this money out for. And so what we have to do is we have to calculate how many days John had this money out for, or took this money out for and didn't pay it back, and find out how much of 1 year that is. So our first step here, before we even jump to this equation, we're going to determine the term. And our first step is to calculate how many days John has this loan out for. And this one here goes from January 12th to February 27th. So one thing that's important here is that they also told us that it showed up on his bank statement on January 27th, but that actually has nothing to do with the question because he didn't actually pay anything off at this point here. So this date here is a little bit of unnecessary. So what we do is we start collecting interest on the day that he took out that money, all the way up until his next statement, or hopefully that is when he's going to pay it. So in order to determine the number of days that John had this loan out for, it might be helpful to pull out a calendar. So here is a calendar for January and February in 2018. And to be totally honest, it doesn't matter really which year you're working with, just as long as you have to make sure that if February is a leap year or not. But even then, when we're looking at our statement, it was issued February 27th. So it doesn't even matter what the last day here for February is. So it really doesn't matter which year you're dealing with, whether it's 2016, 2017, 2018. The big thing here is that we're going to use this to just count the days. So John got this cash advance on January 12th. And so what happens is that you start collecting interest on that amount the day you start taking out that money. So you have to count this very first day as your, I guess, as your starting point. So you have 1 day here, and you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So you have 20 days in January, plus this 1 to 27 is just 27 days. So from January 12th to February 27th, that's 20 plus 27 is a total of 47 days that we are collecting interest on John's cash advance. So then to determine your term, so if you're dealing with 47 days, to figure out how much of a year this is, you take the number of days and divide it by 365. So this here is your term value, and you can leave it as a fraction, or if you choose to put into a decimal form, make sure you go to at least 4 decimals until you get to your final answer. So now that we have enough information, we have our principal, interest rate, and our term. Now we can actually use our equation to solve for the amount of interest. So your interest is equal to your principal times the rate times your term. So your principal there was 500. We're going to multiply that by the rate. And just remember here, our rate here should be as a decimal. So if we divide by 100, what we should find is that our rate here is 0.18. So put that in for R, and then times it by your term, which is 47 over 365. So then you can go ahead and put this into your calculator. So go 500 times 0.18 times 47 divided by 365. And so what we would find is that the amount of interest that John would pay is $11.59. So for borrowing $500 and not having paid it back for 47 days, that's almost $12 in interest he's paying right there. So when you think about it, that's actually quite a hefty amount, especially when you're looking or comparing other different types of loans. Different types of loans might not charge so much, but if you're in desperate needs or you really need that money right then and there, this might be one of your options that you'd have to consider. So here was a word problem, so we should answer this with a sentence. So we could say, John will have to pay $11.59 in interest. So that there is everything for this video. So if you guys have any questions, make sure to come see me in class or text me on Remind 101. And thank you guys so much for watching.